Archangel Michael, your future shifts after this. Don't scroll, listen to this, because if you are here right now, this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now more than you know, and the reason it feels urgent yet calm at the same time is because destiny doesn't rush, it aligns, and alignment always asks you to pause before it moves. Listen carefully. Archangel Michael is stepping forward in this exact moment to tell you that something has already begun shifting around you, quietly, invisibly, but powerfully, and the shift doesn't start tomorrow or someday later, it starts the moment you stay present instead of scrolling away, because awareness is the doorway through which the future enters. Don't scroll, this message is for you because you've been sensing it. That subtle feeling that something is ending and something new is trying to begin, not in chaos, not in collapse, but in clarity, and that feeling is not imagination, it's your spiritual awakening sharpening your perception, allowing you to notice what you once ignored, feel what you once pushed through, and question what you once accepted without pause. Listen to this, the reason your emotions have felt closer to the surface lately, the reason certain situations suddenly feel heavier, and the reason your tolerance for confusion, disrespect, or emotional exhaustion has dropped is because your soul is preparing you for a different future, one that cannot be built on the old patterns. And Archangel Michael says this moment exists to interrupt repetition before it repeats again. Don't scroll, because this shift reaches into every area of your life, especially love and soulmate energy, and whether you are single, connected, healing, or waiting, the message is the same. Real love does not require confusion to stay alive. Real love does not ask you to shrink, chase, or prove your worth, and recognition, true recognition, feels calm, mutual, and safe in your body, not anxious or heavy, and if something or someone in your life has been triggering more anxiety than peace, listen to this, that is information, not failure. Your heart needs this right now because the future that is shifting toward you cannot coexist with the version of you that stayed silent, overgave, or reacted out of fear, and that's why this moment feels like a pause instead of a push, because the universe is not asking you to fight forward anymore, it's asking you to choose differently. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to hear this clearly. Choosing differently does not mean you were wrong before. It means you are awake now, and awakening is not loud or dramatic, it is quiet, reflective, and deeply personal, and that's why this message feels like it's speaking directly to you, because it is, and your heart recognizes it before your mind tries to analyze it. Listen to this, signs from the universe have been surrounding you, angel numbers appearing at moments when you were doubting yourself, 1111 reminding you that alignment was closer than it felt, 222 urging balance instead of reaction, 444 appearing when you were tired but still protected, and those signs were not random, they were preparing you for this moment of awareness. This moment where you finally stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "What feels true in my body?" Don't scroll, because your body already knows. Tightness is guidance, heaviness is guidance, relief is guidance, calm is guidance, and Archangel Michael says your intuition has been speaking through sensation long before your mind was ready to listen. Your heart needs this right now because the future that is shifting toward you is not built through urgency, it is built through integrity, and integrity sometimes looks like waiting instead of rushing, like saying no instead of explaining, like choosing rest instead of forcing progress, and these choices may feel small, but they are powerful enough to reroute your entire path. Don't scroll, because this shift is also about protection, and protection doesn't always remove challenges, it removes unnecessary suffering, it removes cycles that drained you, connections that required endurance instead of mutual care, and habits that kept you busy but unfulfilled. And Archangel Michael says if something begins to fall away after this moment, it is not being taken from you, It is being released because it cannot follow you into the future you are stepping toward. Listen to this. Fear may try to speak now, asking what if you're wrong, what if you miss out, what if you wait too long, but fear always speaks in urgency, alignment speaks in calm, and your heart needs this right now because calm is the language of truth. Don't scroll, because this moment marks the point where your future stops repeating your past, not because you force change, but because you refuse to abandon yourself again, and that refusal sends a signal to the universe that you are ready for something different. Your spiritual awakening has prepared you for this. That's why noise feels louder, chaos feels heavier, and peace feels more valuable than excitement. And listen to this, that is not you becoming boring or disconnected, that is you becoming aligned. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to stay with this feeling just a little longer, because the shift is already happening beneath the surface, rearranging timing, people, opportunities, and outcomes to meet the version of you who is choosing awareness instead of autopilot. And the reason this feels subtle is because real destiny doesn't crash into your life, it meets you when you're ready to receive it. Your heart needs this right now because this is the moment where fear loosens its grip and clarity begins to settle, and if you stay present, if you listen instead of scroll, you will feel it, that quiet knowing in your chest, that sense that something has already changed. And that knowing is Archangel Michael's confirmation that your future has begun to shift, not loudly, not dramatically, but permanently, because you finally paused long enough to choose alignment over repetition, and from this moment forward, everything that comes next will meet you with the same honesty, calm, and protection you just chose for yourself. Don't scroll, listen to this, because if you are still here for part 2, Archangel Michael is now speaking to what happens immediately after your future begins to shift, and your heart needs this right now, because this is the moment where many people doubt themselves and step backward, not realizing the universe is already responding. Listen carefully. When your future shifts, it does not announce itself with noise or drama, it announces itself with space, space where confusion once lived, space where pressure once ruled, space where you no longer feel forced to react, and that space can feel unfamiliar if your old life was built on urgency. Don't scroll. This message is for you because unfamiliar does not mean wrong, unfamiliar means you have stepped onto new ground, and new ground always feels strange before it feels safe. Listen to this, Archangel Michael says right after alignment, fear often makes one last attempt to regain control, whispering questions like, what if you made a mistake, what if nothing changes, or, what if you miss out, but your heart needs this right now because fear only speaks when it is losing influence, not when it is winning. Don't scroll. Choosing awareness has already altered your energetic direction, and that change causes subtle ripples in your life. Conversations shift, opportunities pause or reroute, people reveal themselves more clearly, and these are not setbacks, they are confirmations that alignment is filtering what can stay. Listen to this, filtering is protection, not loss. Don't scroll. This message is for you because the future you are moving toward cannot be built on mixed signals, half-truths, or emotional exhaustion, and that is why clarity feels sharper now. You notice inconsistencies faster, you feel drained sooner, and you crave honesty more deeply, and Archangel Michael says this is not you becoming difficult, it is you becoming honest. Your heart needs this right now because honesty is the foundation of the next chapter. Don't scroll. This shift also reaches into love and soulmate energy again, but this time in a quieter way. You may notice you are no longer drawn to intensity for intensity's sake, you are no longer intrigued by confusion disguised as mystery. Recognition now feels calm, mutual, and steady, and if something feels exciting but destabilizing, your body will let you know immediately. Listen to this, excitement fades. Safety sustains. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to hear this clearly. Your future shifts not because you chase it, but because you stop chasing what was never aligned, and that stopping creates room for what can finally meet you without struggle. Your heart needs this right now because room is required for destiny to arrive. Don't scroll. Signs from the universe may now appear after your choices instead of before. Angel numbers showing up as confirmations rather than instructions. 11. 11 appearing after you chose alignment. 222 after you chose balance instead of urgency. For 44 when you rested instead of forcing progress. Listen to this. Those are acknowledgments that you are cooperating with divine timing. Your heart needs this right now because acknowledgement builds trust between you and the unseen. Don't scroll. You may notice that silence feels louder now, but not in a scary way, in a revealing way. Silence exposes what was being avoided, and that exposure allows healing to complete itself instead of looping endlessly. Listen to this. Healing does not always feel good in the moment, but it always feels right afterward. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael is also speaking to patience here. Patience is not waiting without movement. Patience is trusting that movement is happening even when you cannot see it yet, and your future is already adjusting, even if the evidence hasn't arrived physically. Your heart needs this right now because impatience is fear trying to hurry what alignment has already secured. Don't scroll. Choosing differently has also changed your relationship with control. You no longer feel the need to manage every outcome, to prepare for every possibility, or to protect yourself through overthinking, and that release of control can feel unsettling before it feels liberating. Listen to this. Control was your armor. Trust is your freedom. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that trusting does not mean doing nothing. It means doing less but with more integrity, one honest step instead of 10 anxious ones, one boundary instead of endless explanations, one pause instead of a reaction, and these small acts compound into massive redirection. Your heart needs this right now because redirection does not require force. Don't scroll. You may also feel moments of loneliness at this stage, not because you are losing people, but because you are losing tolerance for what drains you, and that space can feel empty before it feels full. Listen to this. Emptiness is not abandonment, it is preparation. Don't scroll. Love and connection will return in healthier forms once your nervous system stabilizes, once your energy stops broadcasting urgency, once your presence becomes calm and grounded. Recognition will find recognition. Your heart needs this right now because like attracts like at the level of awareness. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael says the future that is shifting toward you will not require you to betray your intuition to receive it. It will not demand exhaustion as proof of commitment, and it will not punish your honesty. Listen to this. What is aligned does not argue with your boundaries. Don't scroll. As this part comes to a close, stay with the calm you feel underneath the thoughts. That calm is not temporary. It is the foundation being laid for the next phase of your life. Your heart needs this right now because foundations are built quietly, not publicly. Archangel Michael confirms this with steady assurance. You did not imagine the shift, you did not miss your moment, and you did not choose wrong. Your future has already adjusted its course to meet the version of you who paused, listened, and chose alignment, and because of that, what comes next will not require struggle to recognize it. It will feel familiar in a new way, like remembering something you forgot you deserved. And if you stay present just a little longer, you will realize that the hardest part is already over. You chose differently, and that choice has set everything else in motion. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you are still here for part 3, Archangel Michael is now speaking to the invisible transformation happening inside you as your future shifts, and your heart needs this right now, because this is the phase most people don't recognize, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is happening beneath the surface. Listen carefully. When your future begins to shift, the first thing that changes is not your circumstances, it's your identity, the way you see yourself, the way you respond to life, the way you allow or refuse certain energies, and this internal change can feel unsettling because the old version of you was familiar, even if it was exhausted, even if it was overgiving, even if it was surviving instead of living. Don't scroll. This message is for you because awareness is dissolving an old self that no longer fits the future you are stepping into, and letting go of who you were can feel like loss before it feels like freedom. Listen to this. Archangel Michael says this stage often brings emotional waves, moments of peace followed by moments of doubt, moments of clarity followed by moments of questioning. And this does not mean you are going backward. It means your nervous system is recalibrating from survival mode into safety, and safety can feel unfamiliar when chaos was once normal. Your heart needs this right now because unfamiliar does not mean unsafe, it means new. Don't scroll. Choosing differently has forced old beliefs to surface, beliefs about worth, love, timing, and effort, and you may notice thoughts like, I should be further along, I don't want to mess this up, or, what if this doesn't work? But listen carefully, those thoughts are echoes of fear, not prophecies of the future, and Archangel Michael says fear speaks loudest when its influence is fading. Your heart needs this right now because awareness is learning to hear fear without obeying it. Don't scroll. This shift also changes how you experience connection. You may feel temporarily disconnected from people you once spoke to daily, not because love disappeared, but because alignment shifted, and alignment doesn't maintain contact for comfort, it maintains contact for resonance. Listen to this. Resonance feels mutual, effortless, and grounding, and if a connection requires you to abandon your calm to keep it alive, that connection cannot follow you into the future that is forming. Your heart needs this right now because you are not meant to drag old energy into a new chapter. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to understand this clearly. The loneliness you may feel at this stage is not a punishment, it is a purification. It clears space so that what aligns with your new awareness can recognize you, and that space is necessary, even when it feels uncomfortable. Listen to this. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is alignment clearing its throat. Don't scroll. Signs from the universe may feel quieter now, not because guidance has stopped, but because you are listening more closely. Angel numbers still appear, but they arrive as reassurance instead of urgency. 1111 now feels like you're aligned, not pay attention. 222 feels like balance holding, not balance needed. For 44 feels like protection wrapping around you when you choose rest instead of force. Your heart needs this right now because reassurance replaces anxiety when trust deepens. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael is also speaking to love and soulmate energy at a deeper level here. The love meant for you is not dramatic, it is stabilizing, it does not spike your adrenaline, it soothes your nervous system. Recognition feels calm, recognition feels steady, recognition feels like you don't have to perform to be chosen, and if you felt bored by peace before, listen to this. Boredom was just your system adjusting to safety. Your heart needs this right now because safety is the soil where lasting love grows. Don't scroll. As your future shifts, your intuition becomes sharper and simpler, not louder. You no longer overanalyze signals, you feel clarity instantly, and that clarity shows up physically, relief in your chest, relaxation in your shoulders, steadiness in your breath, and Archangel Michael says your body has become your compass now. Listen to this. When your body says no, your future listens. When your body says yes, alignment responds. Don't scroll. This shift also affects your sense of purpose. You may feel less driven to chase achievements for validation and more drawn to choices that support your well-being. And this does not mean you are losing ambition. It means your ambition is becoming aligned instead of reactive. Your heart needs this right now because aligned ambition sustains instead of drains. Don't scroll. Fear may still try to convince you that slowing down will cost you opportunities, but listen carefully. Opportunities meant for you do not disappear when you rest, they arrive when you are able to receive them fully, and Archangel Michael says rest is not a pause from progress, it is part of progress. Your heart needs this right now because burnout never builds destiny. Don't scroll. Choosing differently has also changed how you experience time. Urgency loosens, deadlines feel less threatening, and you begin to trust that you are not behind, you are aligning, and alignment always feels slower at first because it removes shortcuts that lead nowhere. Listen to this, shortcuts create loops, alignment creates paths. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to hear this final truth for this part. The discomfort you feel right now is not a sign you chose wrong, it is a sign you chose honestly, and honesty always disrupts patterns built on self-betrayal. Your heart needs this right now because disruption is how healing finishes its work. Don't scroll. Stay with this feeling a moment longer. Notice how beneath the thoughts, beneath the questions, there is a quiet steadiness growing inside you. That steadiness is not fragile, it is forming the foundation of your next chapter. Archangel Michael confirms this gently and clearly. Your future is no longer chasing you from ahead, it is rearranging itself to meet you where you are now, awake, grounded, and choosing alignment. And because you stayed, because you listened, and because you did not scroll away from this moment, the most important shift has already happened. You are no longer moving forward out of fear of repeating the past, you are moving forward from clarity, and clarity will guide every step that follows. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you are still here for part 4, Archangel Michael is now speaking to the moment the outside world begins to respond to your inner shift, and your heart needs this right now, because this is where many people get confused and think they are doing something wrong, when in reality, alignment is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Listen carefully. When your future shifts on the inside, the outside doesn't instantly look perfect. It looks revealing, people show you who they really are, situations expose their true weight, and paths you once chased suddenly feel uninteresting, and that revelation can feel unsettling if you were expecting immediate rewards. But don't scroll, this message is for you because revelation is the first evidence that the shift is real. Listen to this, Archangel Michael says once you choose alignment, life stops negotiating with your old self, it no longer accommodates self-betrayal, overgiving, or silence in the face of discomfort, and that's why situations may feel sharper now, clearer now, less tolerable now, not because you are becoming impatient, but because your awareness is no longer buffering the truth. Your heart needs this right now because clarity always arrives before comfort. Don't scroll. You may notice that conversations change, some people pull back, some test you, some suddenly need more reassurance than before, and listen to this carefully, those reactions are not your responsibility to manage, they are responses to your new boundary, and boundaries don't punish, they expose, they reveal who respected you and who relied on your silence. Your heart needs this right now because exposure is protection finishing its work. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something important here. The universe often removes what cannot follow you by making it uncomfortable to carry, not by ripping it away, and that discomfort is mercy, not cruelty. It prevents you from staying somewhere you've already outgrown. Listen to this, if something suddenly feels heavy where it once felt familiar, that is not regression. That is growth speaking honestly. Don't scroll. This message is for you because your future cannot be built on emotional labor that drains you, and alignment will not allow you to keep carrying what belongs to the past. Listen to this, love and soulmate energy respond strongly at this stage, but not in the way movies portray. Instead of dramatic confessions or intense longing, you feel discernment, you feel patience, you feel the ability to say, "This doesn't feel right," without guilt, and that discernment is sacred. Your heart needs this right now because sacred love never requires self-abandonment. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael says the love meant for you will recognize your calm as strength, not distance. It will not rush you, test you, or confuse you. Recognition will feel like steadiness, like emotional safety, like being able to breathe deeply without fear of losing connection. Listen to this. If something requires urgency to survive, it is not aligned. Don't scroll. Your spiritual awakening is stabilizing here, which means you may feel less emotional intensity and more grounded presence, and some people mistake this for losing passion, but listen carefully. Passion rooted in chaos burns out, passion rooted in peace lasts. Your heart needs this right now because lasting joy requires stability. Don't scroll. Signs from the universe may now appear in hindsight, not beforehand. You make a choice, then you see the number, hear the song, meet the confirmation, and that order is important. It shows trust has shifted. You act from clarity first, then receive confirmation. Angel numbers now say, "Yes, that was right," not, "Pay attention." Your heart needs this right now because trust replaces dependence. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael also speaks to patience here. Patience does not mean waiting passively, it means allowing alignment to work without interference, and interference usually comes from fear trying to speed things up. Listen to this. Speeding up does not make destiny arrive faster, it makes you arrive exhausted. Don't scroll. You may notice moments of doubt, asking if choosing differently will really change anything, but look closely. You already respond differently, you already pause where you once reacted, you already choose rest where you once forced progress, and those changes are not small, they are the foundation of a new life. Your heart needs this right now because foundations are invisible until they hold everything. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that ease is beginning to replace effort, but ease can feel undeserved if you are used to struggle, and that internal resistance may surface as guilt for resting, fear of slowing down, or the urge to do more. Listen to this. Those urges are echoes of survival, not instructions for alignment. Your heart needs this right now because survival mode is ending. Don't scroll. Choosing differently also means accepting that not everyone will understand your pace, your calm, or your boundaries, and you do not owe explanations for growth. Your life will explain itself through how it unfolds. Listen to this. Alignment speaks louder than words. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael says the reason this stage feels quiet is because noise belongs to chaos, peace arrives silently, and silence allows truth to stand without defense. Your heart needs this right now because truth no longer needs protection. Don't scroll. As part 4 comes to a close, stay with the sensation beneath your thoughts, that grounded, anchored feeling in your chest, that is not temporary. It is the result of choosing alignment repeatedly, and alignment compounds quietly. Archangel Michael confirms this with unwavering certainty. Your future is no longer something you chase or fear, it is something responding to you, adjusting its timing, shape, and direction to meet the version of you who chose honesty over habit, presence over panic, and peace over repetition. And because you stayed with this message instead of scrolling away, you are witnessing the shift in real time, not as drama, but as truth settling into place. And what comes next will not require effort to recognize it, it will feel like arrival. Don't scroll. Listen to this, because if you are still here for part 5, Archangel Michael is now speaking to the moment you realize your future didn't just shift, it stabilized, and your heart needs this right now, because this is the phase where alignment stops feeling like a transition and starts feeling like a foundation, and foundations don't announce themselves, they simply hold everything steady. Listen carefully, this is where the panic fades, the second-guessing quiets, and you begin to notice something subtle but profound. You trust yourself more than you ever have before, not because everything is perfect, but because you no longer abandon yourself when uncertainty appears. Don't scroll. This message is for you because self-trust is the true sign that your future has shifted, not circumstances, not outcomes, but the way you stand inside your own life. Listen to this. Archangel Michael says when self-trust locks in, fear loses its authority. It may still speak, but it no longer decides, and that is why your reactions feel slower now, your choices feel cleaner, and your boundaries feel calmer instead of defensive. Your heart needs this right now because calm boundaries are unbreakable. Don't scroll. This is also the stage where peace starts to feel earned, not because you worked harder, but because you stopped fighting yourself, and that peace can feel emotional at first, even overwhelming, because your nervous system is realizing it doesn't have to stay on alert anymore. Listen to this. Relief can bring tears just as much as pain can, and those tears are not weakness, they are release. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to understand this clearly. Choosing alignment didn't make your life smaller, it made it more honest, and honesty always simplifies. You waste less energy on confusion, you spend less time explaining yourself, and you stop negotiating with what drains you. And that simplicity creates space for things you never had room to receive before. Your heart needs this right now because space is where blessings land. Don't scroll. Love and soulmate energy feel different here, quieter, steadier, less intoxicating but more nourishing. You may notice that your attraction has shifted away from intensity and toward presence, away from mystery and toward consistency. And listen to this. That shift is protection, because real love does not require adrenaline to feel alive, it requires safety to grow. Recognition feels calm, recognition feels mutual, recognition feels like your body can relax while your heart stays open. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael says if someone is meant to walk into your future now, they will recognize your calm as strength, not distance. They will meet your pace instead of rushing you. And they will not ask you to explain your worth or justify your boundaries. Your heart needs this right now because love that arrives after awakening feels different from love that arrived before it. Don't scroll. Signs from the universe now appear as reassurance, not direction. You are no longer waiting for permission to move. You move from clarity and receive confirmation afterward. Angel numbers show up like quiet applause. 1111 when you honored yourself, 222 when you chose balance, 44 when you rested instead of forcing progress. Listen to this. The universe is responding to you, not guiding you anymore. Your heart needs this right now because independence in alignment is maturity, not separation. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael is also speaking to the way your relationship with effort has changed. You no longer believe that suffering equals progress, you no longer equate exhaustion with worth, and you no longer feel guilty for choosing ease when ease is available, and this may feel radical if your past required endurance to survive. Listen to this. Survival taught you strength, alignment teaches you sustainability. Don't scroll. You may notice that your goals feel different now. Less about proving something and more about supporting your well-being, less about speed and more about longevity, and this does not mean you lost ambition, it means your ambition has matured. Your heart needs this right now because mature ambition builds a life you can live in, not just admire from afar. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael says this is the phase where patience becomes natural, not forced. You trust that what aligns will arrive when you can receive it fully, not when fear demands it, and that trust allows you to enjoy the present instead of constantly scanning for what's next. Listen to this. Presence multiplies joy. Don't scroll. You may still feel moments of doubt asking if the shift will last, but listen carefully. Consistency is what makes it last, and you are already consistent in choosing peace, in honoring your intuition, in pausing instead of reacting, and these small consistent choices are what permanently redirect your life. Your heart needs this right now because consistency beats intensity every time. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael also reminds you that not everyone will recognize this version of you immediately. Some may try to pull you back into old dynamics, old conversations, old roles, and listen to this. You don't need to fight or explain. Alignment responds with calm repetition of truth. This no longer works for me, and calm repetition eventually teaches others how to treat you. Your heart needs this right now because teaching through presence is powerful. Don't scroll. Choosing alignment also means accepting that some chapters close without dramatic endings, without final conversations, without perfect understanding, and that is okay. Closure does not require consensus, it requires clarity. Listen to this. Clarity is already yours. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael wants you to hear this before this part ends. The future you stepped into does not require you to stay vigilant, it requires you to stay honest, honesty with your energy, your needs, your pace, and your truth, and honesty simplifies everything that once felt complicated. Your heart needs this right now because simplicity is peace's favorite language. Don't scroll. As this part settles, notice how grounded you feel, how the fear that once rushed you feels quieter, how your breath feels deeper. That groundedness is not temporary, it is the result of choosing alignment again and again. Archangel Michael confirms this with quiet certainty. Your future is no longer fragile, it is stable, because it is built on self-trust, awareness, and peace, and from this place, what arrives next will not disrupt your balance, it will fit into it naturally, because you finally chose a future that doesn't require you to lose yourself to receive it, and that choice has changed everything. Don't scroll. Listen to this all the way to the very end, because if you are still here now, this message has reached its final purpose, and your heart needs this right now more than ever. This is not just an ending, this is a sealing, a confirmation, a quiet moment where Archangel Michael stands beside you and says, "You felt it because it's real," and listen carefully, because endings like this don't come with applause or drama, they come with stillness, and stillness is where destiny locks into place. You stayed when it got quiet, you stayed when there was no cliffhanger left to chase, and that alone tells everything about the version of you that exists now, because most people scroll away when truth stops entertaining and starts grounding, but you didn't, because something in you recognized that calm is powerful, that peace is not boring, and that awareness is sacred. Archangel Michael says staying to the end was not accidental, it was alignment recognizing itself, and this is the moment where the future that has been rearranging quietly behind the scenes finally settles into its new direction. Listen to this, your future did not shift because you begged, chased, manifested harder, or endured more, it shifted because you stopped abandoning yourself, because you paused instead of reacting, because you chose honesty over habit, and because you listened when your intuition spoke softly instead of waiting for it to scream. Your heart needs this right now because this is where fear releases its final grip, not with force, but with relief. And you may feel it. That soft exhale in your chest, that grounded calm in your body, that sense that something heavy has lifted without you knowing exactly when it happened. Don't scroll. This message is for you because Archangel Michael wants you to understand something clearly before you carry this forward. Peace is not the reward after the journey, peace is the proof that you are finally walking the right path. Listen to this, the universe has already responded to your choice, not with instant fireworks, but with precision, with protection, with redirection that will only make sense in hindsight. Conversations that never happened because they didn't need to, delays that saved you from repeating pain, endings that felt gentle instead of devastating, and beginnings that will arrive without requiring you to lose yourself. Your heart needs this right now because this is how divine timing actually works. Quietly, respectfully, and in cooperation with your awareness. Don't scroll. Love and soulmate energy are also sealed differently now, because the love meant for you does not arrive to test your worth, it arrives to meet it. Recognition will not feel intoxicating or confusing, it will feel calm, mutual, and deeply safe. And if something or someone faded as you chose alignment, listen to this, it was not taken from you. It was released because it could not follow you into the version of life you are now ready to live. Archangel Michael says the love that comes next will recognize your peace as strength, not distance, and will never ask you to trade your calm for closeness. Your heart needs this right now because you are done confusing intensity with destiny. Don't scroll. Signs from the universe will continue to appear, but now they will feel different. Angel numbers will no longer feel like warnings or wake-up calls, they will feel like acknowledgments. 1111 will land like a quiet smile, too. 22 like balance holding steady, for 44 like reassurance when you rest instead of forcing progress. And these signs are not guiding you anymore, they are walking beside you, because you have learned to trust yourself. Your heart needs this right now because self-trust is the final activation. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael also wants you to hear this final truth clearly. Choosing alignment did not make your life smaller, slower, or less exciting. It made it honest, and honesty removes unnecessary struggle, unnecessary suffering, unnecessary repetition, and from this point forward, what enters your life will not require endurance to keep it, it will not drain you to prove its value, and it will not confuse you to stay alive. Listen to this, you are no longer building a future on survival, you are building it on presence, and presence changes everything. Don't scroll. You may still face challenges, but you will face them rested instead of depleted, grounded instead of reactive, and because of that, they will not define you the way they once did. Your heart needs this right now because strength no longer means carrying more, it means carrying yourself with integrity. Don't scroll. Archangel Michael confirms this with unwavering calm. You did not miss your moment, you did not arrive late, and you did not choose wrong. This was your moment, and staying to the end was the sign that you were ready to receive it. Feel that certainty settle, not in your thoughts, but in your body, because that is where truth lives now, and this is why the audience that stays until the very end is different. Because endings don't end here, they activate, and from this moment forward, your future will respond to your presence instead of your panic, your peace instead of your fear, your awareness instead of your autopilot, and everything that comes next will meet you with the same calm, clarity, and protection you just chose. Stay with that feeling for one last breath, because this isn't goodbye. This is alignment sealed, destiny redirected, and a new chapter beginning quietly, powerfully, and exactly on time, because you listened, you stayed, and you trusted yourself enough not to scroll away.